Hi everyone, I'm Savannah Alvarado and I'm going to be talking to you today about capital punishment. The death penalty is known across the nation for being the ultimate judicial penalty for one's illegal doings, but have you ever wondered what deciphers whether or not one is sentenced to it? Since the penalty is a punishment that is debatable and political among people all across the United States of America, it is something that is discussed within our nation's justice system for being highly disputable. Having read several articles and journals and also having watched videos of people wrongly convicted, I have clear recognition and representation of the death penalty's significance to society today. Today, I will first cover why the death penalty is highly controversial in the judicial system. Secondly, I will be going over the side that is for the death penalty. And lastly, the side that is against it. Let me go on to explain why the penalty is highly controversial in America's judicial system. The death penalty has been under debate since it was created. Not all states have it. 23 do not have the penalty, and there are 3 states with gubernatorial moratoria. Gubernatorial moratoria is a decisive step in eliminating the chance that an innocent person is executed in the state of California, Pennsylvania, and Oregon. It changed the perspective and moral of the law. It changed for those incarcerated. It also changed for people involved in the judicial system. People have different morals than others, and it is very transparent through the actual meanings of this term. According to the deathpenaltyinfo.org, the death penalty in 2021 was defined by 2 competing forces: the continuing long-term erosion of capital punishment across most of the country, and extreme conduct by a dwindling number of outlier jurisdictions to continue to pursue death sentences and executions. This was how capital punishment was defined at the end of last year. This quote is actually in real time in accordance to the end of the year statistics. I went over the reason why the death penalty was very controversial in the justice system. I will now discuss why people are for the death penalty. Many think that capital punishment is required for a balanced judicial system. According to a journal entry by Gale Essential Overviews, by issuing rulings on the constitutionality of these states' statutes, the court created a more uniform death penalty system for the United States. States amended their laws once again after the Supreme Court issued the new rulings. Every state switched to a bureaucrated trial system where the trial is used to determine a defendant's guilt, and the second trial determines the sentence of a guilty defendant. Generally, only those convicted of first-degree murder became eligible for the death penalty. This explains the judicial process in the court when one has committed a crime large enough to be sentenced to the death penalty. This does not happen all the time. This is the usual process. The penalty favored among the people of the United States, and people who favor it think those convicted should be punished according to what they were convicted for. Some think that those convicted are deserving to undergo capital punishment, and some think it's for justice. I first explained the reason why the death penalty was very controversial in the justice system. Then talked about why people are for the penalty. I will now be going over why people are against it. The cons against the death penalty all come down to where the individual's morals lie and stand. They believe that those incarcerated should not receive the punishment. There is a worry that those incarcerated could be wrongly convicted and wrongly sentenced. People who do not believe in capital punishment believe that it's contradictory. Jubilee's video on YouTube called Death Penalty and Anti-Death Penalty is Their Middle Ground states, one of the anti-death penalty people expresses the correlation between a child and those who are mentally incapacitated, saying that they might not have all the information or resources available to them to avoid the death penalty. They think that if one has the mental health issues, they would withstand capability and are not deserving of the punishment because it would be cruel and unusual. It is cruel and unusual because they are held at a mental disadvantage and would be considered handicapped under evaluation. Lastly, capital punishment is widely debated across the United States and will be here until there is an end result of whether or not America will keep it or abolish it. The debate of the death penalty will never truly be determined unless action is taken. But although it is a highly controversial subject, it is something to be educated about and discussed without bias. This is something to learn from and has a great deal of impact. It teaches us more insight on the faults of our judicial system and makes us able to develop our own opinions about these intense matters. Capital punishment is a topic that should be discussed and advised. These topics discussed and advised should be throughout our daily conversation. Although it is something widely controversial, people should be informed on the background, pros and cons, and the history of the penalty. Thank you.